Hey guys, it's Miss Chastain, and you know me as your STEM teacher, and that is the best job in the world, and you know that. I tell y'all that all the time. But I do have another job that I do after y'all go home. And I actually work at One Life Fitness. The gym is about 2 miles from school. I work there several nights a week and on the weekends sometimes. And I work there because I just like it. I like to, y'all know me, I like to work out, I like to move around, always on the go. But I do work there because I enjoy it, and I work there because I like to help people, and I have made a lot of really great friends at the gym. A lot of my great friends are actually, they either work at the gym with me or they come to my classes at the gym. I'm a group fitness instructor at the gym. I have a personal trainer's license too. I do personal training, but I do it in a group setting. It's not like me and just, one person that I walk around and help work out. I used to do that. I don't do that anymore. But I teach a certain part of our gym. It's called Zone 4, and it is group personal training, which is a smaller group of people. Sometimes I have like 10 people. I've had up to 25 in my class before, which that's a lot of people in there. But I really coach it instead of up there teaching it. Like we usually work different parts of our body. We do a lot of cardio, which is when your heart rate gets up and you're sweating and you're out of breath. That's actually really good for your body if you do it correctly, guys. So we do a lot of cardio. And we also, so that on Mondays and Fridays, we do a whole lot of cardio. And then on our Tuesday class in Zone 4, we work our upper body, which is our arms and our chest and our back. We'll work a lot of upper there. Wednesday is our core. Your core is, you think, oh, that's your stomach, that's your abs. Not really, guys. Your core is actually, it is your abs and your stomach, but it's the obliques, which are the muscles that run down the side of your body. And it's also your back, and the upper part of your legs is actually your core. If you think about the core of an apple, it's the center of the apple. It's what the apple, is made around. And if you kind of think of our core, it's kind of the same thing. It's the center of our body, and it's super important to make sure that you have a really, really strong core because it supports everything that you do, every sport that you do. You got to think about how strong your core has to be to support your whole body. And then on Thursday, we work lower, which is our legs, our quads, which are the front part of our legs, our calves, the bottom part of our legs. The back of our legs, our hamstrings, run down the back of our legs. And on Thursdays, that's what we work. And then again, Friday, we do a lot of cardio. Saturday, we lift a lot of weights and do cardio. So in Zone 4, we work a different part of the body every single day. And that's the group personal training that I do. I also work in the group fitness studio at One Life, and that's when actually we have a stage in there. I get up on the stage, I got the mic that comes around, we got the music, bumping in there, and I actually teach cardio kickboxing, which is, punching and kicking and things like that. And another really fun part being a group fitness instructor is you get to, a lot of the classes, you get to pick your own music. So I get to go through iTunes and pick out some really great remixes and things like that that we can do our classes to, and that my members that come in that they'll like. So that's a lot of fun, is finding different things to do with that. And I also teach, it's called interval training, which we have a timer running. I know in STEM sometimes we have timers running to, make sure we stay on track. That's kind of the point of using a timer. And it's called Cardio Blast, but it's interval training, which we do one move for like 30 seconds. We do it as hard as we can, and then we get 10 seconds to breathe and to catch our breath, and then we'll do another one for 30 seconds, breathe for 10. You get the point. So it's just 30 seconds 10, 30 seconds 10, and that way we get a lot of good work, a lot of cardio in, and that class is a whole lot of fun. And the third class that I teach, it's a new class since I talked to you last career day. I got my certification in a class called CX Works, and it's put out by a company called Les Mills. It's actually really, really tough. I got my personal trainer's license a while back, which I actually did that online. And to teach these classes at the gym, I had to get a license. I didn't just go apply and say, hey, I want to teach classes. No, they're like, oh, you got to have a certification. So I actually got my personal trainer's license, which allows me to teach the Zone 4 classes. If I didn't have that certification I couldn't teach back there, because they want to make sure you know what you're doing, because if you don't know what you're doing, you can't tell people how to use their weights and their equipment properly, and you'll hurt somebody, and that's the last thing I ever want to do, is to hurt somebody. So that's I went online and I watched videos online and I took tests online, and then I actually had to video myself working with somebody, showing them how to, you know, to lift weights and to do things properly. And then I had to send it in, and they're like, hey, okay, Miss Chastain knows how to do that. We'll say, hey, she's certified. And I'm certified through something called NESTA, National Sports and Endurance Training Association. So, but they want to make sure that you know what they're doing. If they're going to say, hey, she's certified through us, they want to make sure you know what you're doing, so that you can take care of the people that you're trying to help in the gym. And then back to the group fitness, it was called CX Works, and it's a core class, and it's only about 26-minute class. And you're like, that's kind of long. No, it's really not. My cardio class, my kickboxing classes are an hour. So the CX Works is actually about 26 minutes, and it's all core. And we do 6 songs. We call them tracks. We do 6 tracks, and a different song will come on every time, and we work a different part of our core for every single song. We'll warm up, of course, you know, that's super important. And then we do a track where you're in hover, which is you stay in push-up position almost the whole time. So that one's super hard, y'all. And then we have a track where we actually stand up and we use what is called a resistance band. I don't know if you've ever seen one of these. It's like a big rubber band that has the handles on the end, and they're different colors because some of them are harder to use than others. This one's green, so it's one of the easier ones. I learn my classes with the easier bands because that just makes more sense. But you can do a lot with the resistance band, and with I teach my CX class with the resistance band, and I also just use a very small plate, no more than like a 10-pound weight, and that's actually pretty heavy for that class. So that's a lot of fun. Back to the Zone 4 class, I brought a couple of pieces of my favorite equipment that I like to put in my classes and that we use in Zone 4. I don't know if you've ever seen one of these. This is called a kettlebell. These are wonderful, guys. This is actually a 20-pound kettlebell. They go all the way up to 50 pounds. Actually, they go up higher than that. I certainly do not use them that heavy. And guys, you don't have to lift like heavy weights to get in really good shape. That's important for you to know. You don't have to lift heavy. You can. You know, if guys, if you're going to be football players and stuff, you probably, you know, you'll get into weight training in middle school and high school, and you'll lift some heavier weights. But you don't always have to lift heavy weights. I don't lift super heavy. But this one's a 20-pound one. This is usually what I use, and it's a weight. Looks kind of like a ball, but it's called a kettlebell. It's got this cool little handle on the top, and what we do with these a lot in my Zone 4 classes is we'll work our legs and work our back with the kettlebell. So we'll get into position, and we'll get a little bit of a squat here, and we actually swing it up and then back, and then up and then back. But my job is to teach the people in my class how to do this without hurting themselves and without hurting their back. Because guys, when you're throwing, you know, a 20-pound weight, you've got to be super careful. You know, how you don't want to be hunched over or swinging it wrong. And that's kind of my job as their coach, is to teach them how to use this equipment and to use it without hurting themselves and to use it to help their bodies. So that's a kettlebell. I know you know what these are. These are dumbbells. You always, when you work with dumbbells, you can work with 1 or you can work with 2. These are 10 pounds. You know, these go up super heavy. And you can work your arms, do a lot of upper body work here. You can work your biceps here. You can work your shoulders. You can take it over your head. You can work your triceps. You can do all sorts of things with your dumbbells. So we use these a lot in class. My 2 favorites I brought here. This is called a medicine ball. This one weighs 12 pounds. We use these all the way up to 20 in class sometimes. I don't usually use the 20, but I know you're kind of like, what in the world do you do with that? Well, these are my favorite because we do what are called ball slams with these. And you take it over your head and you just slam it down as hard as you can. And you bring it back up and you slam it back down as hard as you can. But you notice I'm squatting, so I'm using my legs here. But you're actually, when you're doing these ball slams, you're actually, you know what crunches are? You're actually doing a standing crunch. If you think about it, your body's doing this and you don't realize it, so you're working that core again. We do all sorts of things with the medicine ball. Last one, this is probably my favorite. This is called a Bosu ball, and it looks like a giant ball, but it's only half of one. See? So one of my favorite things that we do with the Bosu ball is we do push-ups and what's called a burpee with these. So we'll put them on the ground. They've got handles on here too where you can hold onto it to make sure you don't roll off of them. And you can go back, you can do a push-up on them, then you can come up, and then you can lift them way up here. So we do that. You can also flip them back on the ball side, and you can get your heart rate up, and you can do cardio on them. You can switch it over and back right here. And they also help with your balance as well, because they're kind of bouncy, but then that way you learn how to do the moves with good form, because you're having to hold your balance. You can also work your core with your Bosu ball as well. You can do sit-ups on them. You can do crunches on them. You can come back and you can do sit-ups. You can do crunches. You can do all sorts of things with the Bosu ball. So these are just some of my favorites that we use in class. So again, it's just something to think about. It's a super, super great part-time job for me. You know, y'all are my full-time job, but it's really great that I get to work with y'all during the day, and then when the school day's over and you know all my work's done, I get to go to the gym and be with my friends and teach classes and help people become healthier and help them to become better and happier. So this is definitely, you can make this a full-time job if you wanted to. Lots of my friends at the gym, this is all they do. They teach a whole lot of classes, and they're personal trainers, and they work one-on-one. I just don't do that. I like the group classes myself, but there's lots of options. And you know, also you can just keep learning, kind of like with a teacher. You know, I watch all kinds of videos on, you know, Instagram and Twitter and things like that, and go to workshops so that I can learn new stuff and bring it back to you guys so that we can keep learning and, you know, keep doing new things. And it's the same thing with the gym. You know, I take, you know, do different certifications, and so that, you know, nobody wants to do the same thing over and over. So it's definitely a job that you can, you know, that you can keep learning from, just like my job with y'all. So thank you for letting me jump in. Here goes our equipment. Thank you for letting me jump in on your virtual career day. And again, just come talk to me if you ever have any questions, if this is something you might want to do. Thanks, guys.